Welcome in everyone to another F1 Gamer Dad video. Great to have you here. We are hot on the heels of our fantastic success, P14 in the Bahrain Grand Prix to start the season. We now head to Barcelona for round 2. And as the title of the video suggests, not as smooth a race as our previous effort. It was, let's just say, episode 1 was called We're Learning. We learned a hell of a lot at Barcelona as well, so I'm looking forward to taking you all along that journey with me. But for now, we're going to head to the office because we have a few teething issues to deal with.
Personnel department has asked us to deal with this. We have a couple of options here. Take your time. What you decide to do will have consequences.
So for this one, not too dissimilar from the first issue that we had raised by Dan. So again, he's looking for what he needs to focus on early on. So we're always going to go with pace over awareness. He is going to make mistakes. We want him to be up, fighting for points with us as quickly as possible. So it's a fairly straightforward one.
Thanks. I appreciate you taking the time to help out. We've got an issue we'd like your input on.
Okay, so straight into another one. So the team's requested that Dan attends a meeting to help out with their development of the car. It clashes with a couple of other items on his calendar, so they want to know if we can help them out by just making it a little bit easier to release him for those meetings. Again, Dan is the second driver. He is there to support me and to support the team, so we're always going to favour the team.
Pass on their thanks for helping out.
That's what we're here for. So we're going to jump straight into qualifying. We didn't have the happiest of hunting grounds in P1, 2 or 3, so we're not going to go through that. We're going to skip through. We did finish up P22 in FP3, so we start qualifying hopeful, but honestly not too optimistic of getting too far. So we're just going to give it a good red hot crack and see where we end up. So we join the action, our first lap in qualifying session 1. You can see we're not taking that corner flat. We're quite restricted in what we can do with the aero and the chassis at the moment. And you can see getting very squirrely through that corner there. So we're having to really wrestle the car around just to make a corny lap and to get anywhere at the moment. So first lap is a 1:19.34. We then fast forward to our final lap in qualifying 1, which we're up on our previous banker lap at this stage, and we have beaten it by 0.2 of a second, which is, hey, it's quite academic at this point. We do have something to celebrate as a team though, because Dan has gotten out of Q1. So that is fantastic news for Rapid Racing. We now transition to the start of the Grand Prix.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1, so how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap, so always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Norris, Daniel Ricciardo and Perez, Leclerc, Vettel, Stroll and Carlos Sainz, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda and Ticktum, Ocon, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell, Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, Smith and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So we're planning a two-stopper where, again, we're not expecting to have too much pace at this circuit. It always favours the AI, so we're expecting them to be quite strong. Starting off on the soft compound because we want to be as racy as possible off the line and just see what we can cling on to. So here we go. 5 red lights and we are underway for the Spanish Grand Prix. Getting a great run off the line. Getting up alongside Mick Schumacher. George Russell is in sight. Hoping to go around the outside. Everyone coming into turn 1. There are front wings galore being pounded around the pavement, and we've got a virtual safety car straight off the bat, which is not ideal. We need to redress that move on George Russell, so we're all good to go now. Wow, what a start, breathless start. We've gained 1 position after all of that madness. And the virtual safety car is ending already, so we have not been able to make too much ground. We just need to make sure that on the restart, here we go, we're back on the green flag racing, that we can hang on George as long as possible. Look at that train ahead, keeping a nice single file line, and here we go, up on the inside of Russell, up on Raikkonen, up on Mazepin, down the inside of Ocon. Oh, we're in P15. Dan's in front of us, we're going to respect that. He is on the medium compound, so we are going to try and stick with him as much as possible early on, see what we can do. As you can see, on lap 4 now, Dan is off into the distance, 3.2 seconds in front. Antonio Giovinazzi is going to shoot up the inside of us.
Our gap to the car in front is 3.6
more pace
seconds.
at this stage. P16 we're holding now. It just seems like on this circuit we've got great straight line speed, so you can see us now, even without DRS assistance, we are absolutely hunting down Giovinazzi. But as soon as we come to these tricky corners, these high speed corners, we are just no match for, I've got to say, basically anyone at this stage. There we go, we're leaving the track just so we can maintain a bit of pace, otherwise we have to downshift. We have to back off the accelerator and make that corner. Our aero department has some work to do before the next race because that is the Monaco Grand Prix, where we know aero is everything. Straight line speed does not matter much at all. So here we are coming into the first stop of 2. We fit the medium compound tyre. We are back out in P21. Esteban Ocon, if you're wondering, he did have front wing damage at the very start of the race, so he did have to come in for an early pit stop, but expect him to be quick and hot on the tails of us very, very soon. If you didn't see that pop up on the screen, I didn't get a replay camera of it, but Max Verstappen actually DNF'd with a gearbox failure.
Our gap to the car in front is 7.7
so he departs the Grand Prix. Terrible news for his title challenge. As you saw in Bahrain, Lewis Hamilton's already off to a flyer, so he has lost more ground. And at the moment, Lewis is leading this Grand Prix as well. So getting even further out ahead in round 2 of the championship. So after a shake-up of pit stops, we are in P12. It's actually looking quite good at the moment. We're sitting stably in there. Tyre wear is an issue though. We are really, so we're 2 stopping to help out with that, but we're really noticing the degradation happening fast. Lando Norris is not a P12 runner. He is going to take off into the sunset, so we're not going to fight that position too hard. We moved over on the straight.
We need to stay on form. Daniel in the pits.
Jeff a bit concerned with our form there, and it was pretty terrible, hanging off the edge of the shoulder of the circuit. So here we are, lap 22, P12. We've got both Alfa Romeos hot on our tail, and coming through that turn 1, you can see Antonio Giovinazzi got a bit close to us. Tried something, I don't know what you would call that, but ends up in a pirouette. Some nice gymnastics form there. And he has been set back quite significantly in that one. Now we've got the other Alfa Romeo and our rival, funnily enough, in this MyTeam career mode of Kimi Räikkönen, is on our gearbox at the moment. He dives down the inside, and he has done the same as his teammate, Giovinazzi. All on the same lap. We've taken out 2 Alfa Romeos, and honestly, I don't think we've really done too much wrong. Quick replay. That move was never on, Kimi. You've really done yourself over on that one. He has to then wait patiently to rejoin the track safely, but I mean, if you're jumping over the sausage curbs just to make a pass, and you're not at least halfway up the inside of the other car.
Blue flag conditions.
Sorry, mate, that's on you.
Create a gap and let the car behind through.
And in fairness, the
was a 1 minute 21.5.
things not going terribly at this stage. We are in P13, but as you can see here, we have no pace whatsoever to fight these cars coming through. So George Russell gets through without much of an argument. We've got Nikita Mazepin and Schumacher, the 2 Haas cars, right behind us. You can see we're basically drifting into the final corner. The tyres.
Be careful. The tyres have deteriorated significantly at this point.
Thanks, Jeff. Needed that reminder when we're sideways through the final corner. And right on cue, very next lap, we dive into the pit stops, and
there are no plans for a safety car right
with
now.
our situation, we have nothing to lose. We're in last place. We are going to fit a set of soft compound tyres, slightly scrubbed from qualifying.
Blue flag.
But as you can see here, this is the story of the last 5 or 6 laps of the race. We have just been lapped for the 2nd time by Lewis Hamilton. The blue flags were basically permanently out.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Flagging down the front runners for me to jump out of the way and let them on through. And that's how it finished. P21 for the 2nd round of the season.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I think it has to be Fernando Alonso. He got the strategy spot on and consistently had the pace to come through as well.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Another team that excelled today was Williams, who make further progress up the table. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
If Crofty's exhausted and elated, I would consider myself exhausted and deflated. that was a hard old slog for 33 laps to end up 2 laps down, well off the pace. We just did not have anything to fight with the cars around us, let alone anyone else. Wow. We, like I said at the very top, we didn't expect to be competitive in this one, but that was a whole different ball game completely. We didn't make enough moves early on. We didn't make the most of the tyres when we had them, and the tyre wear just simply wasn't there either, so it didn't allow us to really propel ourselves forward during the race. But hey, early season, second race at the new team, so we will keep going. We will go back to the drawing board, look at the resource points that we've got to play with and make some upgrades. Hopefully in time, if not for Monaco, maybe for Baku. So we will keep going. Streets of Monaco next. And I'm going to say it's going to be another tough one. So we'll see what we can do in qualifying, because Monaco's notoriously hard to make any sort of inroads during the race. But we will see what we can do. So until next time, like, subscribe, leave comments below. Fantastic having you all here, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.